So, we're back to square one. South Africa has been moved to adjusted level 2 lockdown, and churches, amongst other sectors, will have to bear the brunt of adjustment in order to save lives. In his address to the nation last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa said in accordance with the advice of the National Command Council, large gatherings will be reduced from 250 to 100 participants indoors and from 500 to 250 outdoors.
Gatherings are the greatest sources of transmission, whether it is weddings, funerals, social parties, religious services, political meetings, or simply gatherings of family and friends. All gatherings will be limited to a maximum of 100 people indoors and 250 people outdoors. Where the venue is too small to accommodate these numbers with appropriate social distancing, then no more than 50% of the capacity of the venue may be used. This includes religious services, political events and social gatherings, as well as restaurants, bars, taverns, and similar places. According to our health experts, the recent surge in new infections is due to the increasing number of social gatherings where people are not observing essential health protocols.
Prior to these figures, it was 250 for indoor gatherings and 500 for outdoor gatherings when South Africa was moved to adjusted level 1. He said the recent surge in cases has informed government's decision to ensure that the curve was flattened.
According to the scientists that advise government, the severity of this third wave will largely be determined by the amount of contact each of us has with other people. This means that each of us needs to think about all the people we come into contact with each day and do everything we can to limit those contacts. If each of us makes the effort now, we will help to flatten the curve of infections. We will reduce the pressure on our hospitals, and in doing so, we will save many lives.
However, the General Secretary of the South Africa Council of Churches, Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana, says churches are not super spreaders as it has been made to believe, but rather the churches have comported themselves.
It is a whole lot. It's not just a gathering. I think that we need to recognize that church is not just it's not like a football club that gather. No, it is the whole ministry. And this is part of what we think we need during this time. And there is no evidence. We've been put now at 250. And even then, people said Easter is going to bring a super spread. It didn't happen. Look at the numbers in April. It didn't happen. Not in our churches. And so we've got no power to stop the government from doing that. But I think that it comes out of failure to appreciate what goes into a worship experience for the members. And, talking about 80% of South Africans are Christian, according to the statistics. Those people do need spiritual ministrations. And we're trying to do that with every limitation. Of course, we have got our own guidelines and the SEC that say, watch out. We've said to people, make sure that your numbers are, which is why we're saying what we're saying about certain provinces and what we're saying about what Archbishop Makoba is saying. Leave this management of the numbers to the churches, because they have been doing this now for over a year. They know what needs to happen.
The Council of Church has consequently made proposals to the various church leaderships to ensure that a virus is contained.
Now, what we have done now is to ask them to go beyond their own congregations in the communities where they worship and they live, that they should please spread the gospel of mask, sanitization, distancing and ventilation, which we know is more difficult in the winter to ventilate. The second thing we're sending out to the churches is, especially in the hotspot provinces of the Free State, Gauteng, Northern Cape and Northwest, to consider voluntarily reducing the numbers of worshippers, not stay with the number of 250 which has been granted, precisely because it's difficult to keep windows open during the winter. The third thing we're asking is, this is not about worship. It's asking the congregations to ask the families that are participating in worship, your members, wherever they are, to please postpone family functions and normal celebrations of birthdays to be recognized at least for 3 months until September, in order to deny the virus hosting opportunities during the winter when ventilation is a challenge on account of the cold. We are also saying, please, families, postpone slaughtering of animals for family events, which is a source of COVID danger, as it goes with the gatherings even beyond the family. And finally, we are saying to churches that they must consider delaying and be circumspect about physical conferences, assemblies, and synods, as well as major festivities such as ordination events until August. And we think that all of this must go together with the vaccination drive.
When government employed this measure throughout last year, churches were up against government's decisions. It remains to be seen the position of other church organizations concerning this decision by government.